First, we would like to say thank you for joining us for this informational session this evening. It is about PACE's first year experience in London program, what we call FYE London. We would like to say a big congratulations to all of you on your acceptance to PACE. And you have also all met the requirements to apply for this FYE London program. So we're just really glad that you've joined us tonight. My name is Jennifer. I am joined here by Rebecca and Liz, who are from our study abroad team. We are part of an even larger team who are here to support students on this program before, during, and after the London part. And we're also joined here by Professor Sarah Blackwood, professor and chair of the English department. And Sarah will be based in London this fall as the on-site academic director. She'll be teaching a couple of courses and guiding students academically throughout the semester. And then finally, we're joined by some of our admissions colleagues here at PACE. So if you have any questions that are specific to admissions, feel free to put them in the chat and they will be happy to answer those questions. So Liz and Rebecca will be doing most of the presentation tonight. They know this program inside out. They've been in London with previous groups of FYE London students, and they are excited to speak with you. If you have questions along the way, you can put them in the chat and we will answer them probably at the end of the session. We've got an hour, so let's get started. Thanks, Rebecca.
Yeah. So to kick off, my name is Rebecca Slotkin. I'm the Associate Director of PACE Education Abroad, the Study Abroad Office. And for the FYE London program, I'm also a UNV 101 instructor. And I'll talk a bit more about that course in a few slides, but it is one of the classes that you take and that all PACE University students take in their first year. So I myself studied abroad in China when I was in college, and I loved the experience so much that I wanted to work with students who wanted to go all around the world. So that's how I ended up here at PACE. And as Jen said, I have gone over to London with previous groups to help them settle in, do an orientation both in New York and then in London. And I'm joined by my colleague, Liz Hathaway.
Hi, everyone. I'm Liz Hathaway. Here at PACE, my role is Education Abroad Advisor. And I essentially work with all kinds of students going on all different kinds of study abroad programs throughout their time at PACE. I will also be co-instructing your UNV 101 class with Rebecca. I myself studied abroad in Kenya. And so before coming to PACE and getting involved in this program, my only experience with London before that was flying through on my way to Nairobi when I went to study abroad. But since then, I have been back to London a few times. And most notably with this program, I have gone on the international trip that I think we'll talk about later in this presentation that's included as part of this program. So I accompanied the group from London to Edinburgh a couple times now. It's always a really great weekend, always definitely a highlight of my year. So I'm excited to be here today and to present part of this program to you.
All right, so just to kick off, this is our two cohorts, previous cohorts. And we always start in New York at PACE University here in the New York City campus, and then we head off to London together.
So why London? London is a very popular, if not the most popular destination to study abroad, both at PACE for PACE students and kind of across the country in the US for a lot of reasons. London, of course, is a major city, pretty similar to New York. It's got a rich culture and history. There's always a lot going on, pretty easy to get around, relatively safe. And you're definitely in a new culture, but you don't have that additional challenge of having to learn a second language necessarily. It's a very international city, of course, but predominantly English is spoken throughout the city. In terms of why or how studying abroad in London might be different to just traveling either with your friends or your family, is that you're spending a significant amount of time there. You're really leaning into the culture. You have obviously much more time to kind of visit different sites and again, really dig into the culture. Studying abroad is a great opportunity, especially if you're someone who's looking to gain your independence, increase your self-confidence, learn how to navigate and be flexible. And then with this program, because you're going with a cohort, there'll be opportunities to work as a team, both in the classroom on projects and outside as you kind of navigate having these different experiences together around London. It's also a really great way to gain a global perspective really early on in your degree. So you can bring that back to you when you bring that back to PACE when you come back and apply that in the classroom in New York as well. You learn a lot of soft skills, which today's employers really want. So they're looking for people who have intercultural communication skills and people who have overcome challenges in a new environment and things like that. So it's a really great opportunity for that. Something that we've heard twice now with this program is that it's really great for students if you're someone who's maybe feeling a little bit anxious about how you're going to make friends in such a big population of college students. And this is an opportunity to really connect with a few students in London who you will all come back and kind of have this built-in support network when you come back in the spring to PACE. So it's a really unique opportunity and definitely something to be considered.
Now, in the terms of the academics, all of the students going on the FYE London program take the same courses. You take 17 credits, which is a full course load for the semester. And you have that 1 credit introduction to university life. So this is with Liz and I, and it's where we're talking through the different adjustments of going to university and what college is like and how you connect with your faculty member or your faculty and your professors, and how can you take advantage of the different resources that PACE has to offer, because there's a lot out there, but you just need to figure out how to get connected. And we also talk about study tips and being able to stay on track. So that is to sort of help ground you in this whole experience. And then you have really great courses in terms of the 2 that Dr. Blackwood teach, which is critical writing English and young adult fiction. There's also modern Britain history, as well as public speaking. Those are taught by 2 local London professors, and then introduction to computing. And all of these courses satisfy PACE core requirements and count towards your PACE GPA. So no matter what your major is, you will be taking courses that will help you towards your degree. And of course, being in London, you'll be able to take the opportunity to actually connect your courses and your academics and take it outside the classroom, and visit the museums with wonderful history museums and all sorts of art museums, and so many of the literary greats that are coming out from the UK area and the region, and you can be right where, in those areas. So the academics are taken at the facilities of Kaplan International College London. So you can see here, we'll actually go to this next page of where is it located. And it is right in the center of the city. So you can see actually the Tower of London in this picture with some of our PACE students. That Tower of London is right here, and the college is right here. It's right along the river. You can actually see the river from some of the classrooms. It is gorgeous and really central in terms of where you're taking classes and getting around the city on the metro. So right in the heart of it all. And we mentioned that Dr. Blackwood is on with us today. You can read her bio. Also, I'll show you on our FYE London websites, but Dr. Blackwood, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, and hi to everybody who's logged on and anybody who's watching this a little bit later. I'm really excited to talk with you and hopefully, ideally, meet with you soon. For any parents or students who are interested in this program, I'm really excited to sort of talk with anybody who is interested in talking with me further. As you can see, I'm an English professor. I've been teaching at Pace since 2009. And I will be both teaching 2 of the courses that students in this program will take, as well as kind of helping to check in with everybody on their academics as we move through the semester. And so I'll work really intensely, individually mentoring students, as well as working together with everybody as a group and doing a lot of community building through our academic experience. As you saw in the previous slide, I'm teaching the academic writing class, which is a required class that all PACE students take no matter where they're studying. And I'll also be teaching a literature seminar on young adult fiction, which is a class that I've taught for many years at PACE New York City, and I'm excited to bring it to London. Both of these sections, I'll design them with a focus on being young and abroad and learning about the world, and they will be legitimately sort of fun and engaging courses. I'm excited to share. I'm very passionate about the topics that I teach, so I'm excited to share that. I won't go on any longer, but I'll put my email address in the chat if that's okay. And really, if anybody has any questions at all, just feel free to reach out. I really like talking with, especially with students and doing advising, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Blackwood. And she's too modest to say, but as you can see in bold here, she did win the highest honor for teaching excellence for 2021. So for PACE's highest teaching honor. So we're very lucky to have her and grateful that she will be joining us on this experience. So as we head into the next the next few slides, I just want to take a moment and sort of take you on around the city and some of the sites that you might see. So of course, we have some classic telephone booths, and Borough Market is right next to the college, where the college is located. And this tall building, this pointy tall building, is called the Shard. And that our students previously had said that's sort of their North Star. So wherever they are in the city, if they can just find the Shard, they'll find their way home. So Borough Market is full of great eateries and just a fun atmosphere as soon as you step out of the classroom. And then this other photo is actually from our London orientation, where we did a day trip to Brighton Beach, the Brighton, which has a beach. It's right on the coast, and it's a really lovely day where we do a nice tour and just get out of the city for a little bit. So then you're right back into London. And in terms of housing, I'll let Liz speak a little more about this.
Yeah, so housing in Europe at European type institutions, it looks a little bit different than maybe a traditional US college experience where the dorms may be right next to your classroom. In Europe, it typically are huge buildings that are just dedicated to students, but whereas in the States, these students are all from one university, in London, they may be from different universities. So it's a really great chance to connect not only with the people in your program, but with students from other universities in London. So the housing for this program is located in central London, close to the location where you'll be taking your classes. You will have a single room, so you wouldn't be sharing a room with a roommate. The single rooms have beds, they have a desk and chair for you to study at, and a wardrobe to store your clothes and things like that. There is a shared kitchen that's shared between residents on the same floor, as well as on-site laundry, different amenities. Sometimes there's game rooms and common spaces to kind of gather together. Sometimes even study spaces. And then there's also 24/7 security and protected access into the building. With this program as well, you'll have a dedicated on-site resident assistant who will be living with you in the residence hall, who will be able to support you and guide you in different things you might need as you're living in the space, whether they're academic concerns or, maybe social concerns or health concerns. That person will be able to guide you in the right direction and provide you with that kind of support.
So when we're talking about the program cost for FYE London, it's the fall 2023 Pace University tuition and fees. And then you don't pay the housing fee for New York City or Pleasantville housing, but rather you're paying $9,500 for the FYE London housing. So for students who are eligible for state and federal aid, as well as PACE merit scholarships and grants, those apply to this program. Some of the costs that are not included include the airfare to London and from London at the start and end of the program. And then any airport transfers from arrival to New York and again upon departure from London. Program does not include meals while in London, though as Liz just mentioned, there is access to a shared kitchen. It's actually one of the things that students have said to me is that they were nervous about that at first, but they're really proud of themselves for being able to now cook for themselves and meal plan and go to the grocery store. So they found a lot of joy, especially in cooking together. That I heard that was a popular activity for them. And then also any personal expenses. So it's estimated to the $3,000 a semester. Of course, that is going to be up to the student and their personal needs and wants and desires and lifestyle. So some students like to eat out a lot. Some students like to cook for themselves. Some like to get a lot of souvenirs. So it really depends on the student in terms of personal expenses. I will show you on the FYE London program page that you can find an estimated budget sheet to help with budgeting, as well as before the program starts over the summer, we offer a budgeting 101 workshop to help students prepare a budget. So among the program, the tuition and program housing fee, the inclusions include an orientation at PACE, New York City to start the semester, the London orientation, the housing and the singles that Dr. Blackwood's dedicated on-site role, the resident coordinator, we do welcome and farewell dinners in London. Liz had mentioned that she goes on the international weekend excursion. So in the past it was to Edinburgh and students really loved this. So we're hoping to do that again. That I mentioned the Brighton day trip during orientation. And then some other activities and excursions, theater tickets, as well as a London transport card for the tube, or the subway system, subway and bus transit system. And it mentions zones 1 and 2, that encompasses a majority of the city. Most people don't go outside of that zone. and then other activities and buddy programs with the others international KICL students. And when I say KICL, that is our host partner, Kaplan International College London, of which our students take classes at those facilities. And there are about 800 other students from all around the world who are attending. Although students are only taking classes with their PACE students. So wanted to clarify that.
I'll say a few words about safety and security. At Pace University, we always take students' safety and security very seriously, as does KICL, the host institution in London. And as Rebecca just mentioned, we have orientations both pre-departure in New York City at Pace and in London over several days. And during these orientations, we discuss many, many topics relating to how to be safe, how to stay healthy while you're abroad. The housing security, Liz touched on that a little bit. All of the housing is vetted by our partners. We want to make sure it's comfortable for you, that you will succeed and feel comfortable there. But we also want to make sure that there are safety protocols, and there are on the housing that will be confirmed for this program. As was also mentioned, we have a staff person that actually lives in the residency alongside the students, so is there as a touch point throughout the semester, which is terrific. And as part of the program, students are covered by an international emergency travel medical insurance, which also has mental health supports. So a slide about COVID. Here we are 3 years into COVID. So we all know that we've been dealing with this for quite a long time now. So this is really just to say that if there are protocols in place, whether they're PACE protocols or the host institution protocols in London, UK protocols, the students need to follow those protocols. We expect that there won't be any in place. There aren't any now, but you never know with COVID. So we just want you to be aware of this. It does add an extra, another thing to think about when you're thinking about traveling abroad. And so we said here a decision will be made by July 1st if COVID has come back in any way, and we feel that it would be unsafe. But again, we do not anticipate this happening.
So who is an ideal candidate for this program? So ultimately, we're really looking for students who are motivated to learn, and they're open to the challenge of doing that in a new country and a new culture for their first semester of college. These students tend to be naturally curious people, students who crave adventure, but who are also really flexible. They already have some degree of adaptability, are tolerant of other people and cultures, are mature. So if you hear a lot that you're very mature for your age, that might be a good sign that you might be a good candidate for this program, as well as responsible. Also, we're looking for students who are really looking for those connections in their first semester of college, and these friendships that will come from being a part of such a life-changing experience. I mentioned being open to adventure, overcoming challenges in ways that you'll have stories to tell, both of personal accomplishments and also academic achievements through this program. Really students who are looking to grow significantly in their first semester of college. And then finally, we're looking for people who are good problem solvers, or who are at least willing to tackle challenges, which I've mentioned a couple of times, but people who are also comfortable knowing when and how to ask for help. At 18 or 17, you're not going to know everything there is to know about living abroad, especially if you've never done it before. So we're not expecting that you're going to come in with all this knowledge of how to do things, but we do need to make sure that you are comfortable speaking up and asking questions. And that's really for your safety, but also just to help you grow and become more independent. And then in terms of application requirements for this program, the first 3 bullet points you should already have satisfied by virtue of being invited to this webinar. So again, congratulations. In terms of your next steps, you'll need to submit an essay on your PACE applicant dashboard, talking about why you want to be a part of this program. And it would be best to talk about qualities I mentioned in the previous slide about why you're an ideal candidate, especially about being independent, a problem solver, being flexible, and really kind of what your goals are with this program and how you're going to grow personally and academically. You'll also need to submit an academic paper from one of your recent courses in that same dashboard. And then the last 2, you need to be 18 years of age before the program start date. And you also need to have a passport that's valid through July 1st, 2024. So if you're not sure if your passport is valid or if you don't have one yet, you will need to apply for a passport and renew one to make sure it is valid through that date. And that's just because of the immigration requirements going into the UK. You need to have some space after the program ends in terms of validity of your passport. And since likely all of you or most of you maybe who already have passports, you got them before you were 18, those tend to have shorter times that your passport is valid. So after 18, maybe it's valid for 10 years, but before that, it is a shorter amount of time. So it's definitely something you'll need to check and confirm before applying to this program.
And if you do all that, this could be your new home. Again, the Shard on the left bank here, and then this is downtown London, and in the distance you can see St. Paul's Cathedral. So right in the heart of it all. So in terms of your next steps, and you want to submit your FYE London application documents on your PACE dashboard, the priority deadline is March 15th, and then the final deadline is April 15th. After you've submitted that, it will be reviewed and you'll be invited to interview virtually with PACE Education Abroad, so one or multiple of us. And then after that, you will wait to be notified of your acceptance, which is on a rolling basis. Between March 1st and May 1st. So if you get your application in now, you can interview in the next couple of weeks. And then as soon as, or as early as March 1st, you may be able to have an acceptance notice. And then once you have been accepted, you do need to confirm your acceptance to PACE for fall 2023. And submit a non-refundable $1,000 FYE London deposit to confirm your spot. And we ask you to do that because there may be a waiting list. And so if you are not confirming your spot, then we want to give the opportunity to another person who can join the program. And then come August 1st, that's when you're paying your PACE University bill for the fall 2023 semester, the full tuition and fees and your housing fee. And then by mid-September, that's when we're starting the orientation in New York City, and we will travel to London on a group flight from New York to London. So a few more photos from previous semesters all around the city. And one of the activities, if you can see in this top right corner, is the Globe Theater, famously the Shakespeare Globe Theater. So it's a fun time to be able to see a play there. And hopefully we will see your application. Thank you so much for your attention. And if you have any questions, we'll take them now. But before, actually, if you want to start thinking about your questions, maybe put them in the chat. I'm going to show you some of the program pages. So if you simply Google PACE University, FYE London, or First Year Experience London program, you'll find on our study abroad website right here information. This is just an FYE landing page, and you can see all review the information that we had talked about today. And the deadlines and what's due in terms of your application. And then there's also, if you click on the left-hand side, there's an FAQ page, frequently asked questions. And it has a lot of questions that we've gotten from students and families in the past. And so maybe one of your questions that you asked today, if we don't get to it, you can also check out the FAQ page. And then finally, sorry, I'm going to go back to this page, but if you click on the first year Experience London program, this first link, it'll take you to Teradata, and Teradata is just the name of PACE's study abroad portal, and you can see even more details about the program itself, and it's split up into different categories and topics, so you can just click through if you're not sure or you're looking for some more information. And I mentioned that about a budget sheet briefly. So if you click on the costs page, you can see what we talked about of inclusions, what's not included. And then if you scroll a bit further down, you can see an estimated budget sheet. So the billable is what's paid to PACE. Non-billable are estimated costs that may vary depending on the person. For instance, if you already have a passport, in that case, that would be included. Now, just to keep in mind, this does not include any of your PACE aid, your state or federal financial aid. So this is doesn't take in your specific financial aid into account. So now that we all right, so